It seems that there's low liquidity at this point in time in Kenya. Apart from that, investors also seem to be rushing to the bond market. Do you think this is part and parcel of some of the concerns and the cautiousness ahead of the August 4th referendum that will take place?
Well, there has been increased interest in the bond market. The bond market is experiencing very good levels of liquidity. But I will not speculate whether this is because of the upcoming referendum, because what we've noticed is that investors are pretty much confident with the political situation in Kenya. There is low political risk at this point. So most investors, in fact, foreign investors are net buyers in the past few trading sessions which we've had. So I can't really attribute the increase in the bond market trading to the jitters over the upcoming referendum.
Is there a general lack of liquidity in Kenya at this point in time, Gregory?
Well, as prices edge up, investors are unwilling to release liquidity at those levels because some investors are holding back onto the positions, hoping that they'll get better prices for their holdings. And now that we are expecting the second quarter results, especially for the banks, first half results, it's going to be unlikely to see increased levels of liquidity, maybe until after results are announced.
Turning our attention now to KCB and its rights issue. In the first few days when it launched its rights issue, we did see fantastic demand. We're talking about a lack of liquidity at this point in time. We have seen demand depreciate for KCB. Give us an update on the most recent occurrences with the company.
The rights trading began on a very healthy note. About 1 million rights trading at the moment where rights opened. But in yesterday's session, we witnessed a slowdown in trading in the rights. The market only traded about 250,000 rights. And this is also because the market is also waiting to see what will happen to the government rights, because market talk has it that these rights will come to the market at a premium. So the market still wants to see what kind of premium are we talking about. So that also could be a pace setter for what happens next in terms of trading of the rights. But the stock has also been trading quite actively, especially because of demand coming from foreign investors.
Well, you mentioned 1 million shillings was basically traded on a day-to-day basis for KCB. We're seeing around 250,000. That's quite a massive drop. Do you see that rebounding in the next couple of days, Gregory?
I would expect that to rebound, especially when the government rights are released into the market. The government was renouncing about 209 million of its rights, and that's going to happen maybe in the next few days, because the rights stop trading on Tuesday next week. So that's expected to happen either between tomorrow or Monday next week. So definitely there is going to be some increased activity in trading of rights when those rights come to the market.
Turning our attention now to KenGen, very successful in terms of raising the funding it's required. Of course, the European Investment Bank, a key role player, and now, of course, the World Bank, also a big focus right now in terms of what we've been seeing with KenGen.
Yes, definitely. You've seen even KenGen reacting to the positive news flow that there's more concessionary funding coming in from development partners. About a month ago, they got about $119 million from the European Investment Bank. Now they've gotten $324 million from the World Bank. So this is going to help, capture and continue funding these projects for geothermal projects, which are very efficient and less costly to produce. So this is going to be very good for the company in the medium term.
Gregory, how much is needed overall for KenGen to make good on all its projects and all its targets?
Well, the company was targeting to raise about $70 billion because you realize that they needed to fund all these projects that increase geothermal power, and a combination of geothermal, hydro and wind power sources that will increase the total power capacity of the country by 500 megawatts over the next 3 to 5 years.
It seems that rights issues and gaining funding is a key theme in Kenya right now. Looking at KenolKobil, a rights issue imminent?
It's quite unlikely at this point because the company did go to the market to raise commercial paper, and if this issue it's expected to be successful because of course the good liquidity conditions in the fixed income market. So it's unlikely they're going to go for a rights issue in the near future.
And in terms of your overall investment philosophy at this point in time, Gregory, given that Europe is significantly under pressure, we're of course waiting those bank stress tests. We are seeing mixed data coming through from China and from the US. What are you doing at this point in time when it comes to the stock markets? Are you accumulating? And if so, which companies have you pinpointed?
Well, at this point, you're taking into consideration what is happening in Europe, the lagged effects of the Eurozone crisis. But you realize that sub-Saharan markets have remained fairly strong. And in this case, especially in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, it will be well advisable for investors to take advantage of any short-term market weaknesses. These are markets where you spot weaknesses and take them. Especially, I would advocate for some of these undervalued stocks. Look at some of these stocks in the financials, and I believe there is still value to be achieved in some of these stocks because our market PEs are still low. They still can go much higher.